What if I used the leftovers and made a whole other blanket and then I had like leftovers? You know what I mean? Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Nitty Natty. Welcome to episode 277 of the Love and Stitches podcast. And surprise, I am back in the US. I am here at my friend Brianna's in Pennsylvania, and we are taking a rest from travel for the next 7 days, also getting some van maintenance done. And then don't worry, we are back on our Canadian road trip. A lot has been going on in the last week. We have done so many different things. We were in Prince Edward Island and then New Brunswick and then back here into the US. I was just looking through all the footage, transferring it over as we were starting to edit those vlogs. And I was like, oh, no wonder I am so exhausted. We have done so much. So I am very grateful to be here. It is a rainy day, but I want to call it a beautiful day because the weather is nice and cool. I've got the windows open, which is so great. It's been raining off and on, so there's just like this nice ambiance. You might even hear some birds. I think there were some birds. Last time I recorded a podcast here, you could hear them, so that just makes me so happy. I'm also wearing something new. Don't get too excited yet. I'll stand up in a minute and show you the bottom of this that you can't see right now. I'm also joined today by my little buddy Toaster. He's just outside of the frame right here, but he might, get up and sort of join us at some point. He has pushed me to the front edge of the couch, which is totally fine. I know my place. I have so much to talk to you about today. I am wrapping projects up, starting new ones. I kind of get a renewed energy when I know we're going to be in one place for a little while. And so I have so much to cover on here. I'm not even sure if we are going to be able to do a life segment today because I just have that much to talk about. So we better get right into things. But first I want to say a big thank you to our sponsor of today's video, Craftsy. Craftsy is an online community and resource where millions of crafters, makers, and DIY enthusiasts can find creative inspiration, advance their skills, and learn new ones along the way. Craftsy offers 2,000 exciting classes in over 20 popular categories like knitting and crochet, weaving, spinning, other crafts, baking, cake decorating, and so much more. Now that we're headed into summer, I feel like it's the perfect time to pick up a new skill. Sometimes our schedules are a little more relaxed, or it's just way too darn hot outside to spend every minute out there. A couple of classes that have caught my attention are Know Your Wool by Deborah Robson. She takes you through a wool market where you get to visit different types of sheep and learn the properties of their wool, and then takes you all the way up to the swatching process. Lately, I've been even more interested in learning about different sheep breeds as we've been traveling and seeing different mills. It's just really fascinating how those different properties can really affect your finished piece. Now, Craftsy is always adding on new classes, and I think they've been adding some more spinning classes, or maybe I just didn't see these before. But next on my watch list is Spinning Stupendous Singles taught by Amy King. Spinning continues to blow me away, and even just spinning a single, there's like a million ways to do it. Craftsy's classes are broken down into easy to follow lessons so you can pick up and learn anywhere. And as a member, you'll also have access to live streaming tutorials and Q&As where experts will share their tips and tricks and answer questions in real time. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for just $1.49. Thanks again to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into that long list of projects. I think this guy has settled back down. He was sitting in a really goofy way for just a moment. Let's start with what I'm wearing. And actually, I just realized my project bag is like underneath the tripod. Hold on. Here we go. I've kind of made myself at home here this weekend because Brianna is not here yet, but they do come back tonight. So I need to kind of clean up a little bit. My projects are like spread all throughout the floor because I don't get to do that right now. I don't have the space to spread. So I've definitely been taking advantage. Sorry, Brianna. It'll all be cleaned up. You won't even know when you get back here. But oh my gosh, this project bag is a mess. Okay, let me tell you all about the Skyline Tee because this is the last time that you're going to see her. I am knitting it out of Ruby and Rose's yarn. I'm holding 2 strands together. So I had 2 big cakes of this rose lace, which is 875 yards. So I had 2 875 yard cakes held together, lace weight held together, made fingering weight. This is a fingering weight pattern. This is the Skyline Tee by Tori Yu. I made 2 small adjustments. They're just length adjustments. Everything else I knit to pattern. I made the sleeves about 1 inch shorter, and I made the body about 2 inches longer. I'm saying that with like an asterisk because I actually need to measure it now that I've blocked it. So it's not 100% done yet, but it pretty much is. Everything has been blocked. The ends are all woven in up top, but it's still on tubing and it has this much yarn for me to actually bind it off because I just got to block it yesterday. And this is the first time right before this that I put it on, that I'm trying it on with jeans. And I know it's really hard to tell because I have to like kneel on the couch here, but I'm really happy with the length. I'm glad I added extra length. Again, I think it's between 1.5 to 2 inches, and it just made it so it wasn't as cropped for me. I'm 5'6". I'm like average to tall. And so just adding a little bit of extra length, it would have been probably right here, which is okay. These are high-waisted pants. My belly button's like right here, but I felt like I would wear it more if it was a little more t-shirt length than cropped. So I did add that extra length and I just squeaked by with the yarn. So here is what I have left of those 2 875 yard cakes. So barely any left, probably just a few grams each. So that's really great. There was a point in time where I was considering actually going back and adding more length to the sleeves, like adding that inch that I took out, because I was wrong. When I first did the sleeves, I did one even shorter than this and one this length. And then I tried it on and I was like, okay, which one do I like better? I think for some reason, I just felt like if I did too long of a sleeve, it wouldn't look good on me. Like I like how it looks on Tori and in the pattern, but I just felt like the proportions were going to be off for me, which is why I shortened it. But I honestly think I probably could have gone longer. Am I going to take it out and make it longer to like figure out for sure? I don't think so. I think at this point, I'm ready for this project to be complete and for it to go from project to something I can wear, which is very exciting because I haven't finished a garment in a little bit, and this will be my first garment to finish on the road, which is like extra exciting because I am now going to be able to pull a new project out of my yarn cabinet, which is overflowing, and put this into my garment cabinet or my clothes cabinet, I guess, my closet. And I'm gonna have more space, which is really, really exciting. So like I said, I just put this on like right before starting the podcast. So I do need to kind of like sit with it for a minute and make sure I'm happy with the length. I don't have much wiggle room. If I, did want to make it longer, I probably couldn't add too much, but I think it looks really good. I'm happy with it. I left enough on here to bind off, but if I do need more, I have that little bit left. So top priority after I finish the podcast today is going to be binding this thing off and then putting it as complete in Ravelry and being done with it. But you will not see it back again because, hey, you can basically see everything. Oh, I realized, just in case this is your first time watching or seeing the Skyline Tee, it does have really fun details. So it has like this really nice rib that goes from the collar down the sleeve, which is super, super nice, super well-written pattern. I have yarn. Oh, I think it's in here. We'll get back to this later. To make another of Tori's patterns, the Avenue Tee, which is a more recent release. So I'm really loving having like knitted t-shirts in my wardrobe. So I think more are definitely on the list in the future. Next up, I have this week's squares for my Canada blanket. So I am making a blanket as we travel around Canada. My original 3 or 4 weeks ago, my original thought was to get 1 skein of yarn in each province plus a little extra and make a blanket. So far we have properly visited 5 provinces, I think. We've been to Quebec, We've been to New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland. So properly visited 5 provinces that we are not planning to go back to. So those are all checked off the list. Their squares have been made, but we still have 5 more provinces that we're going to. I feel like, am I missing one? There's possibility that I'm missing one. Kent can correct me when he's editing this, but 5 more provinces that we're going to. Plus, I've been getting a lot of suggestions to get yarn from the territories as well. We are not planning to visit the territories, so I'm doing that like kind of mental battle of like, I'm a little bit of a purist when it comes to projects like this, and I like to, if I'm making a travel blanket, I want it to be places that I'm traveling to. And since there is potential for me to travel to the territories in the future, I kind of want to wait. But also, like, you never know what's going to happen, right? So I guess if I come across yarn that's from the territories, I would consider putting it into my blanket. But I'm also curious, I haven't tried to look this up or anything yet, so I'm also curious if there are hand dyers in the territories. I'm assuming that there would be, but I know that there are fewer people there, so I don't know. We'll just have to see. So anyway, let's talk about the squares that I have done this week. So I finished up my Nova Scotia yarn. So for each yarn, I am making a solid granny square following the Battenberg blanket pattern. I've just added more rounds, so I'm doing 9 rounds total. And then I'm doing 1 square from the Yorkshire crochet, or I guess it's called the Yorkshire blanket. It was a crochet along originally, so it might also be Yorkshire crochet along. This one's really fun. It has lots of bobbles on it. I know it's a little hard to see in the variegated yarn, but it's a little easier to see in person. It's so cute. So this one is from Nova Scotia. I went to this yarn store in Halifax, Creative Knits, and they also dye their own yarn. It doesn't have a specific colorway name, but this color is just perfect. It's so pretty. It came out super, super nice. And did I already say? I wrote it down. This is the Windy Moors pattern if you also have the Yorkshire blanket. And then we went to PEI this past week and I needed some PEI yarn. And so I was able to get that at Fleece and Harmony. We did a tour at Fleece and Harmony. They have a mini mill and a store. It was wonderful. And something I really like that they put on their yarn labels is a little story of the colorway. So I'll read this to you here. I can't read it from the viewfinder. It's too small and backwards, but I can read it here. So this color is called Mermaid's Tail. Do mermaids exist? Many maritime sailors would say they do. If you're on the water, keep an eye out for mermaid tails. Every single color has a cute little, like, couple of sentence story like that. So here is the solid granny square. And then this pattern is called Walk in the Woods. And it has really fun, like, I don't know, stitches that are like on top of other stitches. It's really cool. The Yorkshire blanket pattern, it's my second time making it. It's just so much fun. So I am officially caught up on all of the yarn that I have, which makes me feel super, super good. I'm so proud of myself. I do need to enter in those 2 colors into my project page, which should hopefully be done by the time you're watching this. But then these are all the other ones that I've already completed and all of the leftovers in here. So I will be able to tuck that all away. That plastic bag gets put into a tub in a place that's like not with my project, so it's not taking up space there, which is really great. But yeah, I'm all caught up until I get more yarn. I'm so, so happy. So I have been thinking, like, processing moving forward with this blanket, how big it's going to be, all of that stuff. A lot of people left some helpful math tips in the last episode to kind of help me think through. You know, I'm very much not doing my original idea, which was 12 colors only, because I think I've already hit that at this point. I think I have exactly 12 colors. And like I said, 5 more provinces to go to. So that's not happening. I know somebody said if I got 35, I don't remember. They were very helpful, and I'm definitely going to be referring back to those notes. But something that I just realized is, I must have 11. I must have 11 colors, because I only have 1 pattern out of the 12 patterns in the Yorkshire blanket left to make. So I've made it through 11 of those patterns, and I have 1 more left to make, which is fun. So after I finish those, I'll probably go back through and make them all again. they're really fun. They're just really fun to make. Now, speaking of Em, who is also known as Mima Makes, and she is the designer of the Yorkshire blanket, she reached out to me and let me know that she is designing another blanket that's going to come out this coming December, and it's going to be for Advent. She's also collaborating with a dyer, Jess of Skein and Stitch. And if you are like, this Yorkshire blanket pattern looks really fun, then this one that they're doing together might interest you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of the details, but they also have a YouTube video that they put out together, Jess and Em, to share everything about it. So I'll link that down below so you can like watch and get the full picture. So this is going to be an Anne of Green Gables theme. So Jess has created an Anne of Green Gables Advent, yarn Advent, which sounds super, super cool. It's actually wild timing that Em reached out to me this week about it. And I also saw she's been teasing it on her Instagram stories, like in black and white. And I'm like, oh, another crochet pattern where I get to learn new stitches. Like, okay, sign me up. But it's so funny that it's Anne of Green Gables themed because we just went to the Anne of Green Gables I guess house. It's like a I don't know if it's a historic site. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but on Prince Edward Island, there's a whole Anne of Green Gables area where the author, like it's like near where the author lived and grew up and like wrote the book and all of this stuff. And then there's a house that is similar, I think, to the house that Anne lives in the book. I need to read it. I'm going to read it. I would like to watch the different movies and shows and things that have come out around it because I know people really, really enjoy it. So I have the book now. I haven't started it yet, but I'm planning to. But anyway, all of that happened before I found out about this Anne of Green Gables Advent and blanket. So I'm like, okay, this is just, it's all meant to be. It's all meant to be. So the blanket pattern is going to be coming out in December. It will be a crochet along. And I think there will be maybe like 1 square per week. So it's not strictly something that you would do in December during Advent, but make a little more slowly, like 1 week at a time. So I'm really excited about participating in this in some capacity. I don't know if I'll end up doing it as like an Advent project or end up doing it 1 week at 1 square per week along with a crochet along. We shall see, but I will link the video down below. So if it sounds like something that's interesting to you, you can find out more details. Now, I have something else to talk about with this blanket, but I'm going to save it for a little project planning coming up after I talk about my other whips. I have picked back up one of my sock week socks. After I finished knitting on this, I had no knitting projects. And while I adore crocheting, sometimes there's situations where knitting is very good because I can knit without looking most of the time, or sometimes I just want to knit. I don't know why I'm over-explaining myself. It's okay to knit and crochet, but I picked back up my socks. This is a special Sock Week color, Sock Week 2025 from So Happy Jane. It is called Huckleberry Sunday. There are some mini skeins that go with it, although I don't think I have them in my bag here. I need to make sure to grab those actually out of the van before we drop her off for maintenance tomorrow. I also have it in one of my lovely Sock Week bags. These are still available, by the way. And the Huckleberry colorway is, I think, available for pre-order, but I know that Heather just listed some that are like kind of misfits. So they're a little more, some have a little more speckles and some have a little more like a peachy, or not peach, pinky shade to them. So those are ready to ship. So check those out. But I am starting on my Sock Week socks well ahead of Sock Week, which will be happening in July because I have all of the yarns that I want to work with, all of them. So these are going to be Vanilla is the New Black socks by Anae Fletcher. I've made this pattern, I think, 3 other times. Really like how the heel fits. So it's a strong heel, and the designer has kind of made some modifications to it to do ribbing, from what I understand. This is the only pattern I've ever done this type of heel in, so I'm kind of piecing together information that I have from other things, and I think that's correct. So I've barely started the heel right here, but you can start to see there's some purl stitches coming in here. It's a really fun, I think it's a really fun heel pattern to do. And you do some increases, basically to create this triangle for the heel, and then you do a small heel turn. And if you have a contrast color, you can throw that in with the heel turn. I've also done this pattern on self-striping yarn and it works really, really well. So I just got these, picked them back up. What did I do? I don't know, a couple inches this week. Oh yeah, that's another sock week thing. How cute is that guy? These are gonna be coming back, I think Saturday the 21st. There's gonna be more of these available. But anyway, this yarn, so soft, so lovely. The Love and Stitches membership is going to be doing a month of heels make along in July. So the strong heel is one of the heels that we are encouraging people to try for 1 week, and then we're moving on to like a different heel. So what I'd like to do is finish up sock number 1 and then get sock number 2 started and the leg done up to the point of the heel, so I can do that alongside everybody in July. So having a lot of fun with these guys this week. I thought about, I did start already another sock week sock project. I haven't worked on this one at all this week. I needed to work it up enough to show a sample. How fun is that one? This one is from Super Glow. So I thought about, well, maybe I should start all the socks and just have them started. And then I can just pick up and work on different ones. When if I need a sock that is on a straight portion, I'll just pick it up. I can take it to the movies, or if I have a little more time, I can work on a rib or whatever. And then I thought, no, it's time to simplify and just work on one thing at a time. So I am working on the Huckleberry Socks until further notice. I've got a new project to talk about, finally. It's just in the swatching phase, so I haven't really started it yet, but I am going to be making the Florence Tee by Courtney A. Clark, and we actually just got to talk to Courtney and do an interview with her this past week, which makes it even more fun that I'm getting started on this. So the yarn that I have, I've got 4 skeins in total. I think I technically only need 3 for my size, but Florence is a cropped tee, and as I mentioned before, not always down for a crop, so I might end up making her longer. So I went ahead and just got an extra skein of yarn. But this yarn, I put the label in the bottom. That was smart. I don't remember doing that. This yarn is from 29 Bridges. It is their sock yarn, so it's 75/25, and the colorway is linen. So I just wanted something really simple and nice so that the pattern itself can really just shine. It's a crocheted top, a crocheted tee, and I am going to be trying my hand at it because I haven't had the most success with crocheted garments. I don't think it's anything to do with designers or anything like that. I think it's been me. So I'm really just going for it this time. I'm gonna put all the effort I put into knitted garments, tweaking all of that stuff. Well, actually, I'm not gonna tweak anything. But all of the effort of trying on and blocking and doing all of that stuff, I'm going to put into this garment, and that's the only way to learn. It's the only way to learn and to figure out and to get better at something. So I'm gonna be doing that with this one. So I have just barely started my swatch. I just cast this on at lunch today when we were out to lunch. Toaster snoring. I don't know if you can hear him. Sweet boy. But I have learned a new stitch already. This is extended single crochet, which is something I've never done before. So I'm already excited that I have learned something new. I had to look it up and look at a YouTube video, but it wasn't too hard. So I'm going to continue swatching on this. Hopefully I can get this blocked and see if I get gauge and then get started on this week. Now, something I learned from Courtney when we were interviewing her is that she recently started her own YouTube channel and she does a lot of educational videos. So something that really caught my attention is she has a video on gauge swatching. So I'm like, okay, perfect. I haven't watched it yet, even though I started my gauge swatch, but I want to go look at it because she's got all kinds of tips on how to do your gauge for crochet, and I think measuring it and all of that stuff. So that confuses me quite a bit. So I'm going to be watching that one. And then she also has one on measuring yourself for garments. Again, something I feel pretty confident with knitted garments, but I still have a lot to learn when it comes to crochet. So I'm going to be checking all of those out. And if you are also somebody who makes a lot of crochet garments, or you're new to making crochet garments like me and you want to kind of learn more things in that area, I'll put Courtney's YouTube channel down below so you can check it out too. This is not a knit or crochet project, but a more project in general of just getting organized because anytime we are staying somewhere for an extended period of time, I look at that as an opportunity to kind of reset, refresh, finish things up, ship things home, kind of just like reset and get reorganized to make the next leg of our trip even easier. So I created a to-do list for myself. I would say it's a little bit of an unrealistic to-do list in that I know it's not all going to happen, but that's how I like to start my list. Just put everything out there on the table, and then I start to look at what's more realistic. So here's some of the things that are on my unrealistic to-do list. So number one, I needed to block and bind off Skyline. So that's already halfway done. She's already blocked. Hopefully I can get it bound off tonight, and that I feel really good about checking off the list, no problem. My second thing was to catch up on all my squares, my Canadian blanket squares, and that I was already able to check off the list. So that one is completely done. My third thing was to swatch and start the Florence Tee. So I'm already halfway to halfway of that because I'm already swatching it. So far, so good. But here's where things get a little more tricky. So somebody mentioned in a comment, I believe on YouTube, that it would be really fun to use my leftovers from my Canada blanket to make toaster a blanket. And I have that on my to-do list. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it yet. Like, I just need to explore the idea before I even consider committing to it. But when I read that comment, I was like, that would be really fun to make toaster a blanket. Also, with the squares that I'm making right now, they're very big and I'm probably gonna have more than I first thought. I do have the potential to make 2 blankets out of this. So then my brain goes, well, I could make a blanket for me, a blanket for Kent, and a blanket for toaster and use up all of my leftovers or all of the yarn. If you have been following along for a while, you may know I made a blanket when we traveled around the US. So we went to all 50 states. I got way too much yarn. I got like over 200 skeins of yarn and made this epic blanket. But that blanket only used about 20 grams per skein. So I have so many leftovers to deal with, and it fills me with so much dread to know that I have to go back and deal with all of that. And it brings me so much pleasure to know that for the most part, I have gotten like very reasonable leftovers from this Canada blanket. I haven't weighed them yet, but I don't know. What do you think? Those are probably at least 8 grams a piece, right? I don't know. We'll have to see. But then I'm like, well, it's kind of addicting to, keep using stuff up. What if I used the leftovers and made a whole other blanket and then I had like leftovers, you know what I mean? So here's well, I showed you already the squares that I've done. Here's all the leftovers of those different squares. It might be a possibility that I could make toaster another blanket. And if I do, I am thinking that I will go back to my hexagon blanket that I did for my 50 states blanket and make that one, because what I like about that blanket is that everything gets assembled as you go. And so I won't have to, come home and have 2 blankets to assemble or something like that. So that's on the list. We'll see if it actually moves on to becoming reality, but it's something I want to think about and decide this week, because if it's something I want to do, I want to run through all the yarn that I already have and then just be able to add to it as I go, like I'm doing with my Canada blanket, my main Canada blanket. Okay, so that's one thing that's probably unrealistic. The other thing, oh geez, I didn't realize it had fallen down. The other thing is this. All of this yarn that I have spun that needs to be plied. I know, toaster, right, buddy? I just need to get it done. As we've started traveling, or as we've been in the van again, it just hasn't been realistic for me to get out my spinning wheel. I have a really small spinning wheel. She's awesome. I love her, but it sounds like silly to say this, but we're often not ever still for more than a couple hours at a time. Like, I don't even know if that's true. Like during the day, we're only parked for the littlest bit, and usually because we're getting out and doing something. And then at night, sometimes we're staying at a campsite and we're like back by dinner time, but a lot of times we are going until it's time to go to bed. And at that point, I don't really want to get out my spinning wheel. I will pick something easy, like a sock or something like that, and just maybe work on it for a little bit, but honestly, sometimes not at all. And so most of my knitting and crochet that I've done has gotten done while we've been driving, and I can't spin while we're driving. So needless to say, the spinning hasn't been getting done. So it's like, I should probably prioritize that this week while I'm at a friend's house and I can actually ply. So I probably will be doing some plying. And once I can see kind of my speed on that, I might increase the amount of plying I'm doing. We'll have to see. It would also give me so much more space in my cabinet. And then I feel like if my cabinet was easier, like right now it is jam packed where I have to move one thing. I have to move this actually, this giant bag to get to anything else. And then it's like a pain to put back there. So if everything was easier to get out, I would probably get it out more often. I don't know. So those are the big things on the list. 3 things, my Skyline, my Canada blanket, and Florence that I think are going to go well, and then potentially a blanket for toaster, and hopefully some plying. And then other than that, I just have some yarn to send home. I mean, I have a ton of yarn here that I'm not going to be probably getting to while we're traveling. I already have, as you could see, lots of projects lined up. I also got a whole sweater's quantity of yarn this past week when we went to Briggs & Little in New Brunswick. So I'm gonna send that home because I'm not starting that right now. And it's just sitting on the floor. So it's like I'm not able to put it away. So wish me luck. This week's questions have a bit of a travel theme. I kind of picked and chose from the last 2 episodes, things that are related to travel. And then next episode, I'll try to catch up and grab everything else. So first question is from Stacy. Any advice for people who want to travel full time? So I think the best advice I have is to figure out a way that travel can work for you. So I'll share a little bit about how we decided on a van. We really wanted to travel. Kent, my husband and I, we really wanted to travel. We honestly wanted to do some international travel, but we have Toaster and we didn't really want to travel without him. So we kind of had like, we want to travel, we want to visit yarn stores, we want to have our dog with us. How do we connect all of those things? And the best solution seemed to be, let go of living in an apartment, let go of living anywhere, get a van, live in there for a little bit and travel in the van. That way we can have all of our things with us. We can have our dog with us. We can make it more realistic for us to travel and still get to go to lots of yarn stores. So that's what we ended up doing. And then my second kind of tip, so like first, kind of figure out how it's going to be realistic for you. No 2 people have to travel the same way. But then the second thing is once you kind of start to get an idea, or maybe if you have not really an idea at all, I would suggest going to YouTube and start to watch people who travel. So when we knew we were going to be in the van, I'd actually already been watching a van life travel channel. A lot of people got vans in 2020, 2021, which is around the time we were starting to think about traveling. And so I'd already been watching a van life travel channel, van life travel channel. I was actually watching several of them. My favorite one is Kara and Nate. I think they're so much fun. They're also from Tennessee, which is really cool. And we're close to the same age. So like I had lots of things to relate to them on and it was fun to watch them travel. So that started to get, give us a little bit of an idea of what it would be like to travel in a van. So if you're thinking, I want to go travel and just take a backpack with me, start to find research and look out for people that do that kind of thing, whether it's Instagram or YouTube or something or blogs. You can start to read about that to understand it. Maybe you want to travel on a boat. We've met some people that travel on a boat, which is super, super cool. You can seek that out. You can, start to watch, start to get ideas, start to kind of imagine yourself doing that. I think that's just a great way to start. And don't, I guess I would say don't have too many expectations or limitations on how travel could look for you. Be very open-minded and you'll find something that you can do. Okay, this question is from Sherry. How do you maintain friendships with family or friendships and family relationships while traveling? Do you have any issues with burnout or like sensory overload from traveling, and what brings you comfort when that happens? I'm shortening these questions just a little bit. So it's actually really tough to maintain like friendships when we're traveling. Of course, we can message and text and FaceTime and all of that, but I'll admit I'm not the best when it comes to that. I really like to see my friends in person. So we've been able to, I feel like, see friends, you know, a little bit. Like we're staying with friends right now. That is like the absolute highlight. I love being able to do that. But the reality is traveling full time can get a little bit lonely. Kent and I spend a lot of time together. We've become much closer since we started traveling. And so that's a really good thing. But we definitely miss, and something we're so looking forward to when we're not traveling, is having a friend group again that we meet up with regularly in person, do game nights, go to dinner, go to trivia. Like we miss those things a lot. Now, as far as family go, I actually feel like, sorry, something's making like a weird noise outside. Hold on, let me check that out. It was just somebody doing some yard work, so I just shut the window. It sounded like a staticky thing at first. That was strange. But what was I saying? Family. I feel like actually it's kind of been a great thing for our relationship with family because we're already on the road. Why not go visit our families? We've obviously seen a lot of my family because we've been staying in Nashville where my parents live when we're taking a break from the van, but it's also allowed us to go and visit Kent's family more too. So I think it's been a really good thing actually for family. Granted, we weren't already living in the same city as our families to start with. So if you are already living near your families, of course, travel is going to take you away from them more. Okay, as far as the sensory issues and burnout, I think there's a point in every single day where I feel overwhelmed by the space that we're living in, the pace that we're traveling. But there's also a point in every day where I feel like so unbelievably like, how is this our life? Like, this is the coolest. It's so amazing. And those two things, those highs and lows, happen almost every single day. It's wild. Something that I do that brings me a lot of comfort, honestly, is having a little control over my schedule. And the only way I'm really able to do that is to wake up early. So I have this thing, Kent calls it my magic morning, so I call it magic morning as well. Basically, it's just making my breakfast, being able to sit and eat my breakfast while reading and knitting. And I do this for I usually get to do it every day. I have to make a point, like I said, get up early to be able to do it, but ideally 30 minutes. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But yeah, that 30 minutes, if I get that, it makes my whole day easier because I just get that little bit of time to myself. Okay, question 3 from Crafty B. Any plans to travel in the UK, Ireland, or mainland Europe? You're not the only one that asked this actually this week. So as of right now, we don't have any plans to travel there, but we have desire to travel. We would love to go to Europe. Neither one of us have ever been. So I would love to be able to do that. So I don't have definite plans, but it's totally going to happen someday. We thought about shipping our van over, but it's not super realistic for us at this point. So maybe we'll just fly and go take a shorter trip. So hopefully one day soon. And then the last question, this is from, I think it was Boo Short. What's the biggest difference between the US and Canada? I love this question so much. And I feel like the biggest difference is not really, I don't feel like there's really the biggest difference, but there are all of these small differences that kind of create this feeling that, you're in a different country. So I just wrote down a few of them. They're kind of silly and they're mostly related to being on the road, literally on the road. So these are my observations from being in Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and PEI. So I don't know what Western Canada has going on quite yet. So one of the differences, traffic lights. They are different. They look different. They're actually different in the different provinces, but they also do something different. So here in the US, when you get a turn signal, it is a green arrow, red, whatever, it's an arrow. And most of the time, I will say, I think I did see this happen today, but most of the time it's just solid. And in Canada, they flash. So sometimes like the green like circle lights will flash, sometimes the green arrow will flash. And when this first happened, I think we were in Montreal maybe, and we were like, what is happening? So we tried to look it up, and the green flashing light means that you do not have to yield to oncoming traffic. So it was a little bit confusing because I feel like in Quebec, they didn't have arrows. So if there was green flashing lights, that meant you could make a left turn. But then when it was a green solid light, that meant you had to yield, which like it already means you have to yield in the US. Anyway, I'm over explaining it, but traffic lights are different. Also in PEI, they were different shapes. I think they were like a square, a triangle, and a circle, like within the same light. Fascinating, just fascinating, I think. Okay, another big difference. Almost everything is in French and English, which is super cool. Like a lot of the packaging, because, you know, there are large parts of Canada that are French speaking, like the major companies, they just put everything in French and English. Super cool. We started to learn quite a few French words just that way. A lot of like the signage is in French and English. Anyway, like I said, super cool. Love that. People say washroom instead of bathroom or restroom. I feel like we were in one province that it actually said restroom and not washroom, but usually in the US, I would say, hey, where's the bathroom? And then last thing, and this is just a small thing, instead of saying speed limit on the signs, it says maximum. So it'll say like maximum 70 kilometers per hour or whatever, which I think may just be because there's a similar word in French, and then you don't have to put French and English. And so everyone can just understand instead of having to write like speed limit and then what that is in French. I don't know. That's just a guess. Oh yeah. And also everything's in kilometers. So that was cool. We do have a digital speedometer though. So you're able to switch it on the settings in the car. So everything displayed in kilometers. That was kind of fun because sometimes we were going like 110, but it's 110 kilometers per hour. So yeah, those are my observations. I'd love to hear, especially from Canadians, what you notice between like the US and Canada and like differences, like fun little differences that you see. I also wanted to share with you July's Woolen Women box today. So the Woolen Women box is this really great kit with yarn and all of this immersive stuff to really take you away to another place. They're so much fun. I've been getting them for, I think, the past year. I'm on a pause right now just because we're traveling. It's just too hard logistically to get any of them, but I do have the photos to share with you. And Andrea and Sam are just wonderful people. Andrea actually just had her first baby, which is so exciting. I think they're actually doing maybe not the Woolen Women box, but another like box, like kit for the celebration of his birth, which is really cute. But here is July's box, and you can order it through June 23rd, I believe. So the theme for this box is Too Cool for the Pool. So it's all of this like really bright, fun summer colors with like sort of a semi-spooky theme to it, which is really cute. So the yarn is beautiful. It is this sort of periwinkle with like blue and pink in different shades and a little bit of speckles. Really pretty, really bright, really fun for the summer. As always, Sam has made stitch markers for it. So there's a little like pink sandcastle with little shells on it. And then another little shell, and then a couple of colorful wooden stitch markers. They also usually create something for like a scent kind of sensory thing. So sometimes it's a candle. I absolutely love their candles. But this month they have a candle and a lanolin lotion that comes in like a stick, which I think would be kind of cool to like take around with you, you know, as you go about your day or like knitting out in public, crocheting out in public. There's also a bag that has a really cute little like design on it. And then the candle is called Too Cool for the Pool. It's honeydew, cucumber, and strawberry. It sounds freaking amazing. So I will put the link down below for the July box if you want to go check that out. But they do fun new themes every single month, and they are so much fun to work up. So I'm actually going to close out the podcast a little bit early. As you might be able to tell, it is starting to get dark outside, and I've already blabbed on for so long in this podcast. I feel like if I were to go back and share what we did this week, it would be it would be way too hard to pick anything. We've just had a really wild and crazy, in a great way, kind of a week. And because I just finished getting all of our footage organized from the past few weeks for our vlogs, I was like, okay, this is why things have felt so wild in the past few weeks. We've done so many things. I think we went to 3 mills in the past week. And don't worry, I am still going to be sharing those things with you, but just in vlog form. I think just for this week, just a little break from the life segment is good. Oh, toaster, getting comfy, would be good just for timing. And also because, like I said, there was a lot to go through. But not to worry, that will all be coming up soon. Our Quebec vlog is already out, and then also our Newfoundland vlog just came out. That one, oh my gosh, Newfoundland was just incredible. Everything has been amazing in Canada so far. And we have Nova Scotia and New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island coming up. We were so fortunate to get to go in and see, like I said, we went to a few different mills. We also got to go into the Belfast production area where they make mini mills. It was so cool. Such a cool week. So I'm saving all of that for another time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.